I don't know exactly what to call this. Is it a unit or is it a tower? In either case, it's the bunny sentry, also known as the rabbit sentry. I would like to point out that even though rabbit and bunny are basically described the same animal, the rabbit is the more scientific name compared to the bunny. And at level 10, or wave 10, the bunny sentries are highlighted because the next wave is the flying duck wave, and more importantly, these sentries can target it, which is why in an update, it wasn't actually added at the start of the game, but in an update, the developers added these green arrows on wave 10 to alert you to the fact that these bunny sentries do exist and you should buy them. If you should buy them, it depends on how good your towers are. If you're looking like you're under the cosh, probably. However, given the fact that you can see other towers that are better than this, once I reveal the stats for the bunny sentry, you'll probably realize that actually these aren't a great investment if you can have other towers. Now, interestingly, the bunny turrets, they can actually be seen underneath the map before you spawn them in, as you can see here. So actually, we can review their model before we can actually see them and spawn them into the game. As you can see, they're spring-loaded, obviously, so when they come out the spring door, they'll bounce around and everything. But as you can see, the turrets themselves, they look orange to resemble a carrot, and the green thing, obviously, to resemble the carrot's head. Meanwhile, the bunny themselves, as you can see, yes, a buck-toothed bunny with differing eyes and dual turrets. Yes, nothing really special about the turret. This is what the bunny turret looks like when it's expanded, by the way. Its coil comes out of a trapdoor, and it has a similar shooting animations to basically all the other towers in the game. So if you buy it, as seen here, it comes out, pops out like a trapdoor, and its ears prick up. Now, the bunny sentry itself, it costs $5,000. However, once you buy one, the next one will cost 2,500 more, so 7,500. Then the next one will cost 10,000, and then the next one after that will cost 12,500. Note that this applies no matter which order you buy the bunny sentries in. They'll just increase in cost after you buy the first one, the second one, and the third one. Now, the statistics for the bunny turret, they deal 5 damage, they have 30 range, and 0.15 fire rate. They can detect hidden and flying, though we don't know about lead, given the fact that there's no lead enemies in the Duck Hunt event, and it always targets first enemies. There is no way to change it. There's no way to change its targeting. Therefore, it has a DPS of 33.33. Now, a DPS of 33.33 actually doesn't sound too bad, because the Ranger, right, 4,500, has a DPS of 17.75. The Golden Minigunner, 5,900 for level 2, has 39.06 DPS. So its DPS is about on par with the Golden Minigunner. The Engineer, 6,200, combined DPS of 43.22 at this level. So at least on the first bunny turret, it has a cost efficiency of 150, which means it's not too bad. Having one bunny turret is not actually too bad, given the fact that it can see flying, can see hiddens. It is an alright tower, actually, to use. However, after this, after you buy the first one, its cost efficiency dramatically increases, therefore meaning that the tower becomes less worthwhile. So on the second purchase, it has a cost efficiency of 225, which in an event, not too great. You would probably get away with it in easy mode, but in hard mode, definitely not. Meanwhile, for the next one after that, it has a cost efficiency of 300 and then 375. So by that point, you'll realize that actually getting more than one bunny turret isn't that great. Therefore meaning that if you were to use the bunny turret, I'd recommend that you only get one, and you only get the other ones when you absolutely have nothing else to buy, which is unlikely in easy mode. In easy mode, you actually don't need the bunny turret. However, in hard mode, yes, you definitely need the bunny turret. This is because the Nerd Duck has an attack which damages your base otherwise. So this is the attack where it stretches its arms out and it looks like it's going to do like a Kamikaze. It actually sacrifices this bunny mortar down here, this bunny turret down here, jumps over to there, and it just cancels the attack outright. However, here you'll notice that the Nerd Ducky will perform its attack and it will deal 25 base health damage. As you can see, it performs into a power ball, and as you can see, it then damages the base by 4. And as you can see, it actually jumps forward just a tiny bit. So in this case, this is the only time when the bunny turret is actually useful and is actually required to beat the Nerd Duck. Well, I'll say required. It's not actually required. It only deals 25 base health damage, meaning that if you have the full complement of health, 100 health, therefore you can survive 3 of these attacks before a 4th one will kill you. Now, this does mean that you don't require, actually, the bunny turret to actually complete hard mode. However, unlike some other base health attacks, like the Void Reaver, this can actually kill you. So as you can see here, the Nerd Duck is performing this ability. Then, we all of a sudden kill it. However, we still die because this doesn't cancel out the move. Killing it doesn't actually cancel out this move. Therefore meaning that if we had a bunny turret that would have absorbed this attack, this therefore means we would have won this game. Annoyingly, there is no indication before the Ducky wave that this happens, and that the bunny turrets are basically required to cancel out a move that can damage your base. The Duck enemy can technically do this more than 4 times, thereby meaning you can still technically die to this attack. However, it is really unlikely that it's going to perform this more than 8 times. So if you have all 4 turrets, you're very, 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 very unlikely to die to this attack, because there's no way that the Ducky is going to perform this 8 times, or even more than 5 times, really. And I already know some people are going to say, well, bring the medic. Well, firstly, the medic doesn't heal beyond 100 health. If you're unlucky and the Duck performs this ability more than 3 times, you're dead. Secondly, you can't bring the fruitcake, nor can you bring the turkey leg, therefore meaning that you can't heal back your health. And it's just a really simple counter to the attack anyways. Just buy the turret for 5,000 cash and then just buy everyone subsequently after that. But as a unit, 33.33 DPS doesn't sound too bad, but for its cost, I don't think it's worth it. This is why, in easy mode, it is not required to get the bunny turrets, because the Duck doesn't appear in easy mode. I mean, it doesn't appear as an enemy. Obviously, it appears as a narrator, but it doesn't appear as itself as an enemy in this game mode. And that's why on wave 10 it is approved, because it's a good way to counter the enemies that spawn in, flying enemies that spawn in on wave 11 basically. And so if you have, or you don't happen to bring a tower that has flying detection or has really expensive flying detection like the Ranger, therefore the bunny turret actually can be quite useful. I mean, again, it's also useful for the Spy Ducky wave, which is wave 9, because again, it can see hiddens, but then again, there are towers with better DPS than this. An interesting note was that the bunny sentry arrows were added because people weren't following the commander or the dispatcher's guides. People really think that the commander's dialogue now is useless. Again, in easy mode, you don't need these, and in fact, you're probably not best advised to get these. And given the cost efficiency of the last bunny sentry, you're probably better off getting the other towers to max level or upgraded them, but given the fact that people are completionists, I expect people just to get them all, like I have right here. Plus, 30 range, that's not something to be dabbled about. That's actually quite a long range. And as you can see, I beat easy mode without the need for the bunny sentries. I wouldn't say they're needed in hard mode, but they're extremely recommended. There is one more thing going for the bunny sentry, and I just realized I've been calling it the bunny sentry when it's actually the bunny turret. The one thing going for it is that it cannot be stunned, nor targeted, nor frozen, nor put on fire. I believe there is only enemies that can stun or explode other towers in this event, but this does mean in boss attacks where there are a large amount of stunning abilities, the bunny turret can be quite useful. And also, it cannot be killed apart from the Duck attack, which literally kills it. You can't rebuy it after it's dead, but there is no need to have multiple of these other than the 4 that's given to you by doing the attack more than 8 times. This is also not the first interactable item which can actually damage enemies. That will be the spotlight in the Lunar Overture event, Night 3. However, with that, it can only damage a specific enemy, that being the hands, whereas in other enemies, it will just stun them. This can damage all types of enemies, except maybe for lead, because we can't confirm that, and is essentially its own tower. One tower that you cannot upgrade, and has pretty poor statistics outside the first purchase, except maybe it's stun immune. Oh, and also can't be debuffed, which I don't believe there are any ducks in this event that can debuff towers, but this probably does make it the first unit that can't be attacked nor debuffed. But would you really count it as a unit? I don't think so. It's just an interactable object.